everyone, and welcome to my video lecture. So last time we had completed with the general anatomy of the heart, correct? And I hope everything is clear. We had studied about the atria, ventricles, valves. Okay, we had studied about pulmonary trunk, aorta, correct? So I hope everything is clear. Now today we are going to first start with single and double circulation. Okay, so that is our first topic for today. Now everybody knows what a four-chambered heart is, right? Now, first of all, let us see what is single circulation. Okay, is this visible? Let me just check. Okay, okay. So this is single circulation. Now, single circulation is normally seen in fishes. Okay, and fishes have a two-chambered heart. Now, two-chambered heart jo hai, that structure is basically made up of only two parts. So the heart is something like this. Please pay attention now. Okay, this is one chamber, and this is the second chamber, and there is valve present in between, so the blood can move. This upper chamber is the ventricle. Okay, and this lower chamber is the atrium. Or if you want, you can reverse that, but this is your two-chambered heart. Okay, so only one atrium is present, only one ventricle is present. In which organisms this type of a heart is present? It is present in fishes. Okay, so you know there are cartilaginous fishes, bony fishes, class chondrichthyes, class ostrich thighs, and superclasses Pisces, right? So fishes have this two-chambered heart. Now fishes show this single circulation. What is the meaning of single circulation? So single circulation means that the blood passes through the heart only once. Okay, so that entire circuit, what is the circuit? Heart gives the blood, okay, the blood goes to the body and it comes back. So in that entire circuit between the heart and the body, the blood is passing through the heart only once. That is called as single circulation. When we will study double circulation, you will realize that the blood is passing through the heart twice in one single circuit. So why is this single circulation? Now pay attention. Now what happens is, here the mechanism is slightly different compared to your four-chambered heart. In your four-chambered heart, the right side of the heart, do you remember the four-chambered heart? If you remember, this is your right atrium, this is your left atrium, this is your left ventricle, this is your right ventricle. This part was concerned with deoxygenated blood, this part was oxygenated. But here in the two-chambered heart, only deoxygenated blood flows through the heart. So how is the circuit? Now, deoxygenated blood from the ventricle, now there is no left and right because there is only one ventricle. So from the ventricle, a deoxygenated blood will go through these blood vessels. Okay, these blood vessels, they will then divide into capillaries. So you know what capillaries are, correct? So these capillaries will be formed. And these capillaries are called as gill capillaries. Everybody knows that gills are present in fishes. What is the function of gills? So oxygen exchange takes place. As in human beings, alveoli are present. Similarly, in the case of fishes, gills are present. So what happens? Air exchange takes place, so oxygen diffuses into the gills. In our case, oxygen diffuses into the alveoli and from alveoli into the blood. So यहाँ पे gills blood के अंदर oxygen डाल रहे हैं. Okay. So in these gill capillaries, what happens is oxygen goes and enters these capillaries, correct? Diffusion ke through. Now what happens is, again these capillaries join, okay? And what happens is, now this blood which is passing through the gill capillaries, this blood is your oxygenated blood. Please remember this. Oxygenated blood. Okay, this blood which is passing from the ventricle into the gill capillaries, it is deoxygenated oxygenated blood. Okay, gill capillaries are helping the blood to get the oxygen, so this blood is going to the oxygenated blood. Now what is going to happen is this oxygenated blood is going to be passed to all the cells of the body. So the body of the fish, it is going to receive oxygenated blood from where? It is going to receive oxygenated blood from the gills directly. See, in our case, the oxygenated blood from the lungs first comes to the heart. It comes to the left atrium and then it goes to the left ventricle, then it goes to all the parts of the body. But in the case of fish, the oxygenated blood from the gills doesn't go back to the heart, because this is not a 4-chambered heart, this is just a 2-chambered heart. So directly from the gills, the oxygenated blood will go to the cells of the fish. It will not go back to the heart. So now what happens is, again there are capillaries which are formed over here. So I am going to draw the capillaries in this dotted manner. Okay, and these capillaries are called as systemic capillaries. Okay, now what happens is, these systemic capillaries basically give the oxygenated blood to all the cells of the fish body. Okay, so यहाँ पे सब exchange हो जाएगा. You know that the exchange is between the interstitial fluid or the lymph and the capillaries. That exchange is there. Passive exchange of materials or diffusion of materials take place, and systemic capillaries basically supply oxygen to the body of the fish. Again, what will happen? The cells will take oxygen, give out carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide, so now this blood which is again going back, this vessel which is again formed, okay, this is going to have carbon dioxide. Why? Because carbon dioxide is produced by the cells. So now this blood which is flowing in this vessel, it is which blood? It is deoxygenated blood. The blood which is flowing between the gill capillaries and the systemic capillaries is which blood? Oxygenated blood. So I hope you are getting my point. And what happens is, finally this vessel goes and joins to the atrium. So the deoxygenated blood will enter the atrium. Same deoxygenated blood will go into the ventricle, then it will go into the gill capillaries where it will become oxygenated. Okay, so oxygenation is occurring over here, deoxygenation is occurring over here. Are you getting my point? So what is the difference between a 4-chambered heart and a 2-chambered heart? In a 4-chambered heart, lungs will supply the oxygenated blood to the left atrium first. ऐसे नहीं होगा कि लंग से डायरेक्टली बॉडी के सेल्स में जाएगा. मैं 4-chambered हार्ट की बात कर रहा हूँ. 2-chambered हार्ट में सिंस 2 ही चेंबर्स है, तो आप ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड कहाँ पे भेजोगे? क्योंकि ऑलरेडी ये दोनों पार्ट तो अपना काम कर रहे हैं, तो एक्स्ट्रा पार्ट्स नहीं है. तो डायरेक्टली गिल के कैपिलरीज ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड सेंड करेंगे बॉडी में, एंड बॉडी में द कैपिलरीज व्हिच गिव ऑक्सीजन, they are called systemic capillaries. So oxygen will be taken, so I should actually show arrows. Okay, oxygen taken by cells. यहाँ पे I should show arrows and show oxygen enters blood. यहाँ पे carbon dioxide enters blood. So I hope this part is clear. So basically the heart is helping in passage of only one type of blood, and that is deoxygenated blood. So fish का heart बहुत अलग ही है. The heart is never going to transfer oxygenated blood. It receives deoxygenated blood and it releases also deoxygenated blood. So this heart of the fish is also called as a venous heart. Venous heart means it is functioning like a vein. Vein का function क्या है? It carries deoxygenated blood. This heart is also carrying only deoxygenated blood, so it is also called as the venous heart. And the blood which is present, that is called as the venous blood. Venous blood means deoxygenated blood. Is this clear? तो पूरे साइकिल में हार्ट में से कितनी बार ब्लड जा रहा है? Only once. Is this clear? So this is called single circulation, only single circuit is present. This is present in fishes, okay? Amphibians के अंदर ये नहीं है, reptiles के अंदर this is not present, aves, mammals obviously don't have this. So single circulation is present only in fishes. I hope this is clear. This same diagram is given in your state board textbook, okay? Is this clear? This is called as single circulation, okay? Now let us move on to the next type of circulation. So we are studying single circulation under which part? What had we studied last time? We had studied open and closed circulatory system. Closed circulatory system has single and double circulation. We have completed single circulation. Now we are going to start with double circulation, okay? Alright, now let us move on to the next part, which is called as double circulation. Okay, chalo. Double circulation, so I think I have already taught you in the last lecture. We will revise again. Okay, double circulation means that the blood passes through the heart twice in one entire circuit. Circuit means the blood goes from the heart, it gets oxygenated, goes to the body, deoxygenated, comes back. So in that entire circuit, the blood passes twice. That is why it is called double circulation. Let us see this. Again, I will draw a very simple diagram. Okay, heart diagram. Whenever you are drawing the heart, please remember the upper part is broad. Okay, so that is the part, and the lower part is narrow. It is slightly pointed, and the lower part is pointed towards the left side. This is the left side, right? So the heart diagram is like this. This is the pointed end. Now, is this clear? This is right atrium, this is left atrium, this is right ventricle, this is left ventricle. Double circulation is seen in a 4-chambered heart. It is also seen in incompletely 4-chambered heart and 3-chambered heart. Okay, now what is double circulation? First circuit that I am going to show you, that circuit, since it is double circulation, first circuit is between the heart and the lungs. Now can you tell me the passage of blood from the heart and the lungs? So first of all, you have to show the transfer between right ventricle and left atrium. So you have to show this circuit. Okay, you have to show how the blood is going to go from right ventricle to left atrium. So what will you explain? Very simple. From the right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood enters which part? It enters the pulmonary trunk. Okay, so I am writing over here pulmonary trunk. Pulmonary trunk is that part which is over here. Then from pulmonary trunk it will enter into which part? It will enter into, what was the part? Pulmonary artery. Do you remember this? 2 pulmonary arteries are present. Then from the pulmonary arteries it will enter the lungs. So here I will write down the lungs. Left pulmonary artery, left lung. Right pulmonary artery, right lung. See, I am drawing the diagram in this way so that I can show you both the circuits clearly. Okay, I can also draw pulmonary trunk like this, but it will become complicated. Now from the lungs, oxygenation will occur. Oxygenated blood will come back via which part? Which vessels? Very simple. Pulmonary veins. How many pulmonary veins are present? 4. 2 on the left side, 2 on the right side, and from the pulmonary veins it will come into the left atrium. Is this circuit clear? So this circuit is basically occurring between the right ventricle and the left atrium. Transfer of blood from the right ventricle to the left atrium through this path is called as pulmonary circulation. Again I am repeating, pulmonary means related to the lung. So pulmonary circulation or pulmonary circuit means the passage of blood from the right ventricle to the left atrium. So if they ask you what is pulmonary circulation or what is pulmonary circuit, then so I will write down circulation over here because that is the word which is used more commonly. So if they ask you what is pulmonary circulation, you have to explain the flow of blood from RV to LA. How RV से blood जाएगा pulmonary trunk में, from pulmonary trunk, pulmonary arteries, trunk only divides into arteries, from arteries, lungs, veins, and again oxygenated blood comes over here. Is this clear? If you want, you can also write down this blood is deoxygenated, this blood is oxygenated. But we are studying double circulation. ये तो हुआ एक ही circuit. What about the other circuit? Very simple. Flow of blood from the which part? Left ventricle to the right atrium is your second circuit. Just like you explained this circuit, can you explain this another circuit? So what I will do is, now I will draw this other circuit. Okay, this is the second circuit. Now in this, so please remember, when you are explaining this circuits, just explain the flow of blood. For example, if they ask you pulmonary circulation, just explain flow of blood from ear to ear. Don't write that blood goes from right atrium to right ventricle. That is not needed. You have to start from right ventricle, you have to end at left atrium. Similarly, when you are explaining this second circuit, now this is called as systemic circulation. You have to start from left ventricle and end at right atrium. Now what will you write? So from left ventricle, the blood enters which vessel? It enters the aorta. Now you know that, correct? Aorta is the biggest artery in the body. Then from the aorta, it will go into all the cells of the body. So I will write down cells of the body. Then cells of the body will take oxygen, give out carbon dioxide. Deoxygenated blood will be carried by which vessels carry deoxygenated blood? I taught you. ऊपर वाले वेसल जो नीचे की तरफ आते हैं सुपीरियर वीना कावा, नीचे से ऊपर जाते हैं इंफीरियर वीना कावा. सो बोथ द सुपीरियर एंड इंफीरियर वीना कावास will carry the deoxygenated blood, and deoxygenated blood will go where? Into the right atrium. So this second circuit, is this clear? समझ रहे क्या? So एक साथ दोनों हो रहा है. So please remember, when your blood from right atrium to right ventricle, when this movement is happening, this movement is also happening at the same time. So when your blood from the right ventricle is going into the pulmonary trunk, at the same time oxygenated blood from left ventricle is going into the aorta. ऐसे नहीं है कि ये जब चल रहा है तब ये बंद है. That is why it is called double circulation. This part is also functioning, this is also functioning, and there are two circuits created which I have shown over here. This circuit is called as systemic circulation. I hope this part is clear. Is this easy? And this is called as your double circulation. So the passage of blood occurs in two circuits, or you can say the blood passes twice through the heart. This is one time and this is another time. Whereas in single circulation, blood passes only once through the heart. Is this part clear? Is this clear? Pulmonary means when the blood is going from heart to the lungs. Systemic means when the blood is going from the heart to the body. So if I want to make a summary of pulmonary circulation, I can write down that blood is going from the heart to the lungs and then back to the heart. Here I will write down right ventricle to the lungs and coming back to the left atrium. Similarly, if I want to write about systemic circulation, I will write down heart, body, and back to the heart. So now I will write down heart, left ventricle, body, right atrium. Is this clear? Simple. Why is it called double circulation? So with that, we end with the different types of circulation. We end the open and closed circulation part, and now the next part is going to be the human circulatory system. So this ends our part. Okay, just take a minute. Observe the diagram. If you want, you can sketch this diagram. Okay, I will give you a minute. You can do that. Okay guys, so I hope this part is clear. Okay, now we are going to start with the next part. Now in your book the next part is about the human circulatory system. Okay, now human circulatory system, so let me run this off first. Human circulatory system is made up of which parts? What are the different parts of the human circulatory system? Can anybody think of it? So there are many different parts. The human circulatory system, okay, human circulatory system is basically made up of these following parts. First of all, the heart is present, correct? Heart is four-chambered heart. Then blood is present, okay, and the blood vessels are present. Which are the blood vessels? Blood vessels are arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules and veins, correct? So these three are present. But apart from this, the circulatory system is also helped by a system which is called as the lymphatic system. And lymphatic system has got lymph, which is the liquid. We had studied lymph, interstitial fluid. That same thing is present in lymphatic system. So in very advanced organisms, circulatory system is helped by the lymphatic system. We are going to study this system towards the end of the chapter, so don't worry about that. So is this clear? So now the next part in your book is about the human blood, composition of blood. Now that is a very theoretical topic because you need to remember everything. Okay, there is nothing to understand. You have to remember blood में क्या क्या है, types of cells, RBCs, erythrocytes, leukocytes, thrombocytes, all that we will do towards the end because it is theoretical. Now we will directly move on to heart part. Okay, so we are going to start with the human heart. I have already taught you the basic anatomy of the heart. Okay, and the first thing that we are going to learn in the heart is about the overall structure of the heart. So anybody knows what is the structure of the heart? So the structure of the heart, if I ask you what is the shape of the heart, then the shape of the heart is like a fist. ये जो हम लोग fist बनाते हैं ना, exactly ये shape का heart है. Okay, so I can say that the shape of the heart is like a closed fist. ठीक है, ये मुट्ठी हम लोग जो बंद करते हैं वैसे ही है. What are the dimensions of the heart? So the weight of the heart, that is also given in your book. So the human male, okay, so human male can be written like this. The heart of an adult male weighs approximately 300 grams. And similarly, the heart of the human female, fully adult, weighs approximately 250 grams. Okay, so this is given. Length, breadth, all that is not given, so it is a good thing. Even if you don't remember this, it is okay. So this is the weight. Okay, so let me write down over here weight. Okay, and where is the heart present? It is present in the thoracic cavity. Thoracic cavity is the chest cavity inside the rib cage. Where exactly it is present? It is present between the two lungs. Okay, it is present slightly towards the left lung side. So the space between your two lungs where the heart is present, that space is called as mediastinum. Okay, please remember this word, very important, especially for students giving NEET. Mediastinum is the space present between the two lungs. Okay, you have the two lobes of the lungs, the left lung, the right lung. The space which is present between it is called, between them is called mediastinum, and inside this mediastinum the heart is present. Is this clear? Okay, so where is the heart present? It is present between the space of the two lungs, which is called mediastinum. Now in your book, they have made a spelling mistake. They have written mediastinum. They have missed out on this I. So in your book they have written it like this, which is wrong. It is mediastinum. So that correction is there in your textbook. So is this clear? Please remember this word. Okay. Now let us start with the heart structure. Is this clear? Okay. Now what is the function of the heart? function of the heart is to pump blood. It receives deoxygenated blood, it sends the deoxygenated blood to the lungs, lungs bring back oxygenated blood, and the heart pumps the oxygenated blood to all the parts. Two-chambered heart, it will just carry deoxygenated blood to the gills. Gills will send oxygenated blood to all the parts of the body. Deoxygenated blood will again come back into the heart. That is about two-chambered, that is single circulation. This we are talking about four-chambered heart, double circulation. Okay. Now, first thing in anatomy of the heart, we have to study about something which is called as pericardium. Okay. So, what is pericardium? Now, basically your heart which is there, it is present in a protective covering. Okay. So, your heart, suppose if this is your heart, just draw an outline again. If this is your heart, then this heart is protected by a capsule. Okay. Capsule is a layer which is protecting the heart. And this wall which is protecting the heart from outside, that wall is called as pericardium. Okay. Peri means outside, cardium means heart. The wall which is present outside the heart to protect it is called as pericardium. Now we have to study about this wall. Okay, we have to study about the thickness of the wall. We have to study how that wall is divided. So we will do it. It is very, very easy. Now let us start with the structure. So I hope pericardium is clear. Pericardium is the layer of muscle or layer of tissue which is surrounding the heart. Its function is to protect the heart. Okay. So now let us start with this pericardium. So they have given a diagram in your book. Unfortunately, I don't have colored pens with me, otherwise it would have been best. But don't worry, I will explain it to you. It is very, very easy. So now let us study the structure of pericardium. Now, this is your pericardium. Okay. And this region which I am shading, that is your heart. Okay. So this layer is present outside the heart and this is your pericardium. So I will just write it down over here. Pericardium. Okay. This. And this is your heart. This part. Now, this pericardium is further divided into two parts. The outer pericardium is called as fibrous pericardium. So now I am just going to draw an area which is dotted. Since I don't have colored pens, I will need to differentiate the areas. So this dotted area is called as the fibrous pericardium. Inside the fibrous pericardium is the second layer of the pericardium, which is called as the serous pericardium. Okay, so now I am this entire area is called as which pericardium? It is called as the serous pericardium. See, very, very simple. Fibrous means very, very strong. So this outer wall of the pericardium is a very, very strong layer. That is why it is called fibrous pericardium. This inner part of the pericardium is soft. So it is called serous pericardium. Now, your heart is over here. This is the heart. Okay. This serous pericardium is further divided into two parts. Don't get confused. Pay attention to what I am teaching. So this serous pericardium is further divided into two parts. The outer part of the serous pericardium. See, now I am talking only about the serous pericardium. Okay. So this part, the outer part of the serous pericardium is called as the parietal part. Parietal means outside. Okay. So this part I am writing as parietal. So if I ask you what is the name of this part, it is called as parietal serous pericardium. What is the part which is inside called as visceral? Do you remember the structure of woman's capsule? Parietal and visceral. Similarly, outside means parietal. This remaining part of serous pericardium is called as visceral. So this part is called as visceral serous pericardium. Is this clear? Is this clear? Okay. Now one more thing. In this serous pericardium, between the parietal and the visceral, this area which I am showing, there is a space which is present. Okay, let me just revise whatever I have taught. If you are getting confused, first of all, we are studying about pericardium. Pericardium is a layer which covers the heart. Okay, we are studying the thickness of the pericardium. This is your pericardium, this entire part. Okay, so I have already shown you that this is your pericardium and this is your heart. Pericardium is divided into two main parts. Which are those parts? Fibrous pericardium, serous pericardium. Fibrous is outside, serous is inside. This entire part is serous. Serous pericardium is further divided into outer one, which is called as parietal serous pericardium, inner one which is called as visceral serous pericardium. But between them there is a space, and this space which is present, that space is called as pericardial space. It is not the space between fibrous and serous pericardium, it is the space between the parietal and visceral pericardium of the serous layer. This space is called as the pericardial space, and pericardial space is filled with a fluid called as pericardial fluid. This is somewhat like the lungs. Do you remember? There is something called pleural fluid, parietal, visceral membrane के बीच में. What does it do? It prevents friction. Similarly, when your heart is contracting and relaxing, there is movement over here. So this pericardium also moves. So this liquid layer, it prevents friction. Second thing, it acts like a shock absorber. Suppose if somebody punches you on the chest, then the shock waves will travel like this. So this will absorb the shock. So it is this pericardial fluid is protecting the heart. So protection is the function. Similarly, it acts like a shock absorber and it also prevents friction. When these two are moving, it will prevent the friction. So prevents friction between the parietal and visceral serous pericardium. Is this clear? And that ends our part of pericardium. So this entire part is about your pericardium, and inside the visceral serous pericardium, inside it is present the heart. So this heart is directly attached over here. There is no space between the visceral serous pericardium and heart. Heart is directly attached. So this part which I have shown, that is the heart, and heart is attached to the pericardium. Is this clear? Okay. So this layer which protects the heart, it is pericardium. Once again, let me just revise quickly so that it becomes clear. Pericardium is divided into two parts. Which are they? Outer fibrous, inner serous. Fibrous is thick, serous is soft. Serous pericardium is further divided into outer parietal, inner visceral. Between the parietal and the visceral serous pericardium is present pericardial space. Inside pericardial space is present pericardial fluid, helps in protection, shock absorption and prevents friction. Is this clear? And inside obviously the visceral serous pericardium is attached to your heart. Now the last part of our today's lecture is about the three layers of the heart, and with that we will end our lecture. So is this pericardium clear? Okay. Now I will go one step ahead. Okay. Now let us start with the heart. Okay. There are three layers of the heart. So we have already seen the three layers of the pericardium. Now the heart is attached directly to this visceral serous pericardium. So this wall will be same. There are three layers of the heart. See, I will show this diagram also, and I will draw a diagram over here also. Just see, this is your heart, correct? Just imagine this is your outermost layer, correct? So basically there are three layers of the heart: outer layer, mid layer and inner layer. So if you cut the heart now, you will get three layers of heart. So again it is a cross section. So the outermost layer of the heart, okay, this layer is called as the, what do you think, what will it be called? Outer means epi. This layer of the heart is called as epicardium. So what should I do? I will write it down in slant. Epicardium. This is the outermost layer of the heart. देखो यहाँ से heart शुरू हो रहा है. ये जो हम लोग अभी पढ़ने वाले हैं वो heart है. And heart का outermost layer is epicardium. Then after the epicardium comes the biggest or largest or the thickest part of the heart, which is called as myocardium. You can see this is very thick. So this layer is called as myocardium. And the last layer of the heart, which is again very thin like the first layer, it is called as endocardium. It is the innermost layer of the heart. So if you take a heart and you cut it, then the layer or the wall of the heart, the heart will be divided into three layers: epicardium, myocardium, endocardium. And epicardium is connected with which part of the pericardium? Visceral, serous, pericardium. So if you want to go from outside to inside, this is outside, this is inside. This is the outermost part of the heart, or this is the outermost part of pericardium. This is the innermost part of the heart. So this is your heart. Now you have to remember these three layers. First of all, you need to remember what are they made up of and what are their functions. So please remember epicardium and endocardium. So I will write it down over here. Epicardium and endocardium, both these layers are made up of squamous epithelium. Do you remember what is? See, you have to know what is the meaning of squamous epithelium, cuboidal, all that. Because even in lungs we had studied. Squamous epithelium means single layer of cells present on a basement membrane. This is called as your squamous epithelium. Do you remember? It is also called pavement epithelium. These cells are very flat like pavement. Okay, and this is called as squamous epithelium. So this is made up of single layer of cells, this is made up of single layer of cells, both are made up of squamous epithelium. What is the function? This and this will protect this myocardium. That is the function of these two layers. Because the main part of the heart, the contraction and relaxation of the heart, that is done by this part. So this is the main muscular part of the heart, that is why it is thick. So contraction, relaxation, all that is done by this part and this part will protect this myocardium, and they are made up of squamous epithelium. This is where your cardiac muscle fibers are present. So entire heart is not made up of cardiac muscle fibers. Only this part of the heart is made up of cardiac muscle fibers. This part and this part is made up of single layer of cells called squamous epithelium. What is the function of myocardium? Myocardium's function is contraction, relaxation. Are you getting my point? This is made up of what? This is made up of cardiac muscle fibers. So I will write down over here, made up of cardiac muscles. Do you remember cardiac muscle structure? Intercalated disc, uninucleated, striated, all that. So muscle fibers are present over here, and the function is beating of the heart or working of the heart. Function of these two is protection of myocardium. Is this clear? So with that we have finished the wall of the heart, which is the pericardium. We have finished with the layers of the heart: epicardium, myocardium and endocardium. And next lecture we are going to start with external structure of the heart, which I have already taught you, all that left atrium, right atrium, all that. So we will be studying that in detail. then we will be studying internal structure of the heart. So that is the end of today's lecture. I hope this part is clear. I hope pericardium is clear, layers of the heart, that is clear. If it is asked in the exam, draw a very simple diagram like this. Okay. I hope single and double circulation is clear. Single circulation is always seen in a two-chambered heart. Fishes, the blood is called as venous blood. Double circulation is seen in three-chambered, incompletely four-chambered and completely four-chambered heart. However, remember, in three and incompletely four-chambered heart, there will be mixing of blood.